Hi guys, Derek72 here. Tonight I'll be reviewing the eGo-Tank system. What that is a cartridge and atomizer combination for your electronic cigarette. Now Trevor at OVALEusa.com was kind enough to send me down a starter kit for the purpose of the review. Here it is. So let's take a closer look and see what was included. The eGo-Tank system arrived in this impressive black vinyl bound presentation box. It's actually even got a satin liner to the top half. Got my full color instruction manual, a carry pouch, a wall adapter to go along with the rapid USB charger, a disclaimer note warning me not to try to use regular 510 batteries with this rapid charger, two complete eGo-T units. That's the 650 milliamp hour battery, one piece atomizer and cone, and two tank cartridges. Along with that, I've got 5 empty replacement cartridges. Okay, the eGo-T system uses a 650 milliamp hour 3.7 volt battery. If you're familiar with the original eGo battery, it's the same size. And if you're not familiar with that, this is a 14500 lithium ion battery, which is about the same size as a AA battery. The finish on it, it feels almost like a clay or ceramic finish, and it's really nice. It's a really nice finish. The battery does have a really cool new feature to it. It's got a master on off, so if you tap the button or press the button 5 times within 2 seconds, it'll change the status from either armed to disarmed. It'll show that with 3 quick flashes. So now it's disarmed. So when I push the button, I get no LED light. Now when I tap it 5 times again, it'll flash 3 times, and now it's armed. To charge this battery, simply screw it onto the USB charger. You can plug that into any USB power source. And if you don't have that available, you can plug the charger into this wall adapter and charge it that way. There's a status indicator light on the charger itself. It'll show green for fully charged and red for charging. I ran one down all the way, and it took about an hour and a half to fully recharge. The atomizer and cone are 1 unit. And if you look inside, this is where it meets up with the tank cartridge. There's a metal plate that the cartridge will meet up against with a metal spike in the middle, and that's what feeds juice to the atomizer. The plate isn't perfectly round. There's a couple of slots cut out for airflow. And if you look on the part of the atomizer that meets up with the band, there's 2 notches cut out for airflow. Now the cartridge itself is a whistle tip design. It's clear, it's see-through, so you can see how much liquid you have left in the tank. And the end cap I kind of loosened up for purpose of the video. This end cap is a little difficult to get off. Actually, it's kind of really difficult to get off. I happen to use an eyeglass screwdriver and just pried it from the sides here. There's 2 little grooves cut just for trying to pry this cap off. You can fill it with about 1 milliliter of e-liquid. So I'm not even counting drops, about 25 drops, give or take. Just kind of pour it in there till it's full. You snap the cap back on. Now, if this was a new cartridge, it would be totally sealed. The center hole would be sealed. And when you attach that to the atomizer, you would actually hear or feel a little bit of a click. You still feel resistance even with a used cartridge. But with a new one, you'd actually feel a little bit of a click where it breaks the seal. The overall length compared to the original eGo is about 1.5 centimeters longer. And in case you were wondering why this is sitting here, I actually filled this tank cartridge about 15 hours ago, and I punctured the seal, and I've had it sitting on this same paper towel for about 15 hours, so it's totally dry. Had no leakage with this. So let's give it a try. We'll see what it vapes like. Okay, so the juice I'm using it's an 80-20 PG/VG blend, which means I got 80% propylene glycol, 20% vegetable glycerin, and I'm getting a great amount of vapor from it. A good solid throat hit. It's what I'm used to out of a standard 510 atomizer on an eGo type device. I measured the atomizer resistance. It's about 2.2 ohms, which is pretty much the same as a Joy 510 atomizer. So there's no real surprises in performance. I mean, both are very good to excellent. The flavor is a little bit stronger, and what I mean by that is liquids that I vape on a regular basis do seem to be a little more intense or a little more flavorful on the tank system. And the draw is very similar. I mean, I can't tell the difference between the draw on the tank and the draw on the eGo with the cone on it. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the eGo and you never used it before, it does have a bit of a stiffer or tighter draw than most devices, and in my opinion, it's a little more analog-like. The juice delivery system has been working very well with light to moderate vaping. It's like near flawless. I did run into a few occasions when I subjected it to heavier vaping or chain vaping, where it would develop a little bit of a dry taste or a little bit of a burnt taste along with the taste of my e-liquids. Get around that by taking a couple of primer puffs. And what I mean is this system is it works off of airflow. It doesn't work off of gravity. So when you inhale, it kind of assists with the wicking from the cartridge to the atomizer coil. So, and what I mean by taking primer puffs is inhaling as I would normally, and just not activating the button. So it would give the system a chance to re-wick the coil on the atomizer, and the flavor comes back to just as good as it was before. The system does work. They did a really good job with it. It's not perfect, but as opposed to leaking issues, I don't mind having to prime it every once in a while. Now, speaking of leaking issues, I did put this through a bunch of amateur testing where I filled the tank up and I've left it on my nightstand overnight. I left it horizontally and I've left it vertically and in both cases, I haven't woken up to any kind of puddles on my nightstand or any kind of leaking issues. I've used the same cartridge on every refill for about a week or so, and where the cartridge meets the spike in the atomizer, I haven't developed any kind of leaks at that joint either. When I go to recharge the battery after using it during the day, the contact has been dry, so I'm a lot more comfortable using a tank system with, say, like an automatic battery, where when I was a dripper, I was real uncomfortable trying to drip with an auto battery because I didn't want to ruin it by getting liquid down into the hole on for the sensor. Now the cartridges for the tank system, I'm a heavy vapor, but they do last me about 3 to 4 hours before I need to change out cartridges. The battery life has lasted me about 7 hours between recharges. And portability. Now, carrying the device around with me, with the masteron off, it puts my mind at ease if I want to carry my device in a bag or in my pocket. There's not going to be any kind of issue with misfires. The cartridges themselves, when I fill up a couple to bring with me, the silicone end cap actually has a little bit of a nipple on the inside, and that mates up with the hole on the atomizer. I mean, the hole on the cartridge, and I haven't had any kind of leaking issues when it came to that either. So overall, I think they've done a very good job with this device. It's replaced the need for me to go from dripping at home to using cartomizers or a cartridge in the car, and it does work better than any cartridge system I've used before. So I mean, they did a very good job with the tank system, and I'd be comfortable recommending this to anyone. So if you want to check these out, you can head on over to OVALEusa.com. And until next time, I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and happy vaping.